Alright, for those of you who've been watching my channel for a little while, you may have seen this guy in the background. It did have a bit of a green tarp that was kind of ripping on it, but this is a Yamaha 500cc two-stroke Skidoo, or snowmobile I should say. Skidoo is a brand. I've had it for a couple of years now, but I think it's been off the road since 2005. At least that's the sticker that was on the plate the last time I saw it. And as you can see, it hasn't really moved since I placed it here. Pretty much just dropped it and left it. I had plans to actually kind of put it back on the road, so to speak, to the snow trails, but yeah, I know 2 years later I still haven't done anything with it. It's pretty much complete, although I have no idea if it runs. I didn't start it when I got it, and it wasn't started, or at least started before that when I picked it up. So I really have no idea what condition this is in, and that's why today we're going to find out if this thing actually runs. So it looks like it only has 10,125 kilometers and says it can go up to 180 kilometers per hour. Highly doubt that, but you never know. And you can see it's been here for a while, that the mice have made a home in it at some point. And boy, do they make a mess. Hate those guys. Let's go ahead and open the hood. And okay, well, yeah, there we go. Yeah, the strap that's supposed to hold it up is broken. But here's the engine. It's a 500cc two-stroke. I don't know if anything's been done to it. I don't know if anything at all. I honestly know no history on this snowmobile. I did get into it a little while ago, just out of pure curiosity. I started pulling out some of the connections off of the dash, if you will. This is for the heated grip. This is the choke, and I think this is for the lights, or just to turn the ignition on. I'm not 100% sure anymore. But yeah, let's just take a look and see if we can get this thing up and running. All right, I went and rummaged for the key. But I think what I'm going to first do is take this off, just because it's pretty much just annoying and in the way. It's just not really solid. Let's get rid of it. There we go. I think the simplest thing to check would be the spark. So I'm going to actually just remove the spark plugs, and see what we get. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it is a two-stroke, so I'm not expecting much. It looks a little obviously oily, and has some carbon deposits, but I don't think it's too bad. Let me go ahead and make sure that it spins over freely. I mean, I checked before, but you never know. Looks good to me. Spark plugs are the NGK kind. I like those. They don't seem like anything special. Oh wait, I wanted to check the spark. Place those there and see if I can actually see it while I'm cranking on it. Would be nice to have a starter on here, but it ain't got one. I think though this model does have provisions for a starter kit, mostly because if I turn the key, there is the position for starting. Anyways, it's in the on position. I am going to see if I can see some spark. Well, I can't see anything right now. I don't know if it's just the sunlight. I'm going to try and bring the camera in a lot closer and see if it records anything. So I just took a peek at the coolant. It's full. Seems to be in good condition. It's still quite green. I checked the two-stroke oil, because this is self-feeding, I think. And there's some in there. It should be at least enough to turn it over a little bit. And I also went and checked the gas tank. There's a tiny little bit of gas in there. Hopefully it's enough just for us to get it started. And it didn't smell like really bad. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's still good. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just see what happens. Make sure stuff is out of the way. I'm going to put the choke on. The throttle does open and close. There's no issue there. Okay, after a few pulls, it didn't seem to do anything. I'm just trying to see if maybe the fuel line was disconnected, just out of curiosity. Well, I can't see anything off the top of my head, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take the air filter off. Take a look at that. Okay, I think I see something there. But anyway, I'm going to take the air filter off. I'm going to double check what I see down there and then see what happens. All right, I went ahead and kind of tore apart the air box and all that. It actually gave me access to all the fuel lines from the oiler to the gas tank. It's pretty dirty in here, so I'm actually just going to clean it and then reassemble it. This is what the air box looks like. See all this kind of junk. I was afraid, well, I am afraid of pulling all that stuff in and doing some damage. And here's the little boots that go around them. Again, they're pretty dirty. It was probably run without a filter. If there is a filter in here, I don't know. It didn't come with one. But let me get to cleaning that and reassembling it. And then what I'll do is just shoot some starter fluid and see if that pops off. If that does pop off, then I'm going to put some gas in the gas tank. I can see that there's plenty of oil, two-stroke oil, so I should be okay with that. All right, airbox is fully installed. I mean, if something doesn't work again, I might have to take it off because there's like a little pump underneath there, and I might have to just go back down there and take it all apart. But let's just see if it at least pops off. And that way, if I use the starting fluid and it works, then that's even better. At least I know that the engine is fine. No, I'm not going to use this to run it. It's just to see if it starts. That's it. Well, we know the electrical is good now that it did that. So I'm happy. What I'm going to try and do is maybe just put a little bit more gas in the gas tank and see if it's just that. Maybe it's just not siphoning. All right, that should be enough to make a good attempt. All right, busting the gut here, so I'm going to take a minute and take a look. Whoa, boy, that's a lot of smoke. But at least it's starting. Now, I just needed to get it to run. It takes quite a lot out of you pulling these things sometimes. Whew. Okay, so it's definitely not pulling fuel from the tank. And I'm pretty sure all the smoke is just from the two-stroke. All right, I've been trying quite a few times with the starter fluid, and it starts. I mean, it needs a lot of starter fluid, but it works. I got it to run for a little while, a couple of times just through the testing. It smokes a lot, which I know two-strokes do that, but this is quite a bit. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take the carbs off and give them a cleaning too. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to do that, but obviously there's something not quite right. At the same time, I'm going to see if the fuel pump actually is pumping. I think it is, but let's see what's going on. All right, I just pulled out the carb. If you look closely, that's the inlet for the fuel. You can see that there is fuel dripping out of it. If I can give you a shot there. So yeah, you can see there. See, that's dripping. That means there's something in. So there's something in the float bowl. So since there is something in the float bowl, that's a good sign. I'm actually kind of curious to see if that pump actually pumps. I mean, it should, but let's just, verify it visually. So right here, that's the two inlets for the carburetors. I basically just want to confirm that it is actually pumping and that it seems to be pumping a bit of a good volume. I'm going to try it without any fluid or starter fluid. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll try with the starter fluid. Well, as you can tell, that is working. So I'm not worried about that. So it's got to be a carb thing. So with that being said, why don't we just move into the little shed shop, take a look at what's inside the carbs. Okay, well, that just happened. Went for a break, grab a snack, came back. This is what I found. So clearly there is 2-stroke oil and gas in there. All right, trying not to go too deep into this. I just want to pop the bowls. Someone's been in here. Who's missing a screw. Number 1 looks clean. Number 2 also looks good. Everything looks clean in here. I don't know. Everything moves. Doesn't seem sticky or anything. I'm going to just try and take the main jet out and see what that looks like. So far under here, nothing looks dirty. Nothing looks bad. The only thing I can think of is these little guys right here. I don't know if there's supposed to be something there, but I'm going to pass some carb cleaner, see if that helps. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of junk in there, at least that one, because now I can see the light through it, but before I couldn't. Same with this one here. Seems to be okay now. I'm going to take the top off and pull the diaphragm out. Well, actually, there's no diaphragm on this one. It's just a slide. And that looks okay. Yeah, I don't think there's much I can do up here because it's pretty clean. I mean, the most I can do is just shoot in some carb cleaner and hopefully that removes any kind of gumming. I think that's about all I'm going to do there. Uh-oh, am I out of carb clean? Well, I can't believe it, but I am out of carb clean. That kind of sucks. Well, right now I got to get some carb cleaner, so we'll have to wait till after that. And we're back. So I picked up some carbon choke cleaner, so I should be able to continue with this. Basically, I'm just going to shoot it wherever I can. I believe I've taken out all the major pieces, which means it should give me access to what I need. All right, gave that as much of a cleaning as I wanted to. I didn't want to go too in-depth into try and take this apart and make it super clean. That wasn't my plan. I just wanted to make sure that the snowmobile runs. The only thing that I found really stopped up was just this. I think it's the idle. There's a bunch of little holes in there, and the main one was blocked up. I couldn't see any light, so I cleaned that up. Both of them were the same. Other than that, just sprayed it with some choke and carb cleaner wherever I could. Everything seemed to flow or go somewhere, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't notice any kind of really weird stuff going on. It seemed pretty much a basic cleanup. So I'm just going to put the bowls back on and then move to installing it into the snowmobile. All right, went ahead and reinstalled the carb and air box. All the wiring is also reconnected and the throttle cable. So I'm going to give it a shot and see if it runs. I've already cycled it a little bit just to try and get some fuel into the carb. Don't forget your kill switch and then your choke. I'm going to shoot some starter fluid in there and see what happens. All right, let's see if that does anything. All right, I went and got a little cap to get a straw in there because I'm out of breath. The original didn't have one. It was hard to shoot it into the actual opening. This is why I love starters. You don't pull your back muscle or run out of breath. Smoky! Let's try it again. Don't forget the key. Wonder why it stopped on that one. Oh, either this one isn't strong enough or the spark's not good enough, and that's why it shuts off. But that I'm going to leave that for a later date. I know the engine runs, so it's just a matter of some tweaking and getting it to optimum performance at a later time. But I'm happy with the way it is. This is a good start. I have future plans with this, and hopefully I can get it to work. Tail lights, headlight, and gauge cluster. It's idling a little low. I should adjust that probably, but for now it's all good. Well, it runs, so that's always a good accomplishment. But for now, I'm literally just gonna leave it like this. The reason is that I have future plans. Those future plans are hopefully, fingers crossed, to build a cross card similar to the one that I rode at Cars and Cameras October 2023. Check it out in that video if you haven't seen it yet. So that's why I didn't really go through everything, like fully cleaning the car or rebuilding it or anything like that. Just a test phase just to make sure everything is okay. Now, you saw also that I had an issue with one of the spark plugs. I swapped them and I just jiggled the cables. It seemed to solve the issue. I'm not sure if that's a permanent thing or a temporary thing, but I'll find out later. It did smoke quite a bit, but I'll also say that I don't own any other two-strokes, so I can't say for sure that that's normal. That might be just the ignition or the firing. That might be the issue, but I can't confirm. Happy to see that the carb was just a simple, quick cleaning, so that's perfect. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this test. It turned out to be a fully functional vehicle. It's nice to see that all the lights work and that the dash is functioning. I will be using that in the future project, the cross-kart project. So that's nice to see. So on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.